Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friends?
I'm doing well, dude. You know, it's an exciting Monday here for us on this April 24th of the year 2023. You seem a little down, Brian.
Yeah, you know, like I was telling you, though, I mean, obviously it was a great weekend in terms of getting to meet, my new nephew, Dominic, and, of course, seeing my sister, Stacy, your husband, Michael, my godson, Patrick. Had a great time with them.
But
the sports, unfortunately, did not do the job. But I guess the way you could look at it is we are hunting for positivity, for good feels this week in the world of sports. But of course, we do have to recap what happened this weekend, and we could start on a little bit of a lighter note here, the world of golf, just to kind of update everybody on what went on. We had, a PGA Tour event, but we also had LIV as well, which I want to just mention quickly. But we'll start with the PGA Tour. So the Zurich Classic, of New Orleans, and we had talked about how, this, of course, at TPC Louisiana, the team format, and two guys that I'm sure everybody, not that familiar with, Nick Hardy and Davis Riley, a record 30 under par to take this event home, going 64, 66, 63, 65. This, of course, the format of the better ball round one, the alternate shot round two, better ball round three, and then alternate shot round four. And they were able to outdo Adam Hadwin and Nick Taylor, who came in second, 28 under par. And very good there. In our, last year's champion, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, 26 under par, and we're able to fire a second round 63. So had some success here. And was just a weekend of a lot of low scores. Hadwin and Taylor had a 63 on Sunday as well. So definitely, an interesting event. A lot of low numbers, and just you had a decent field, not all the big names, but enough to get you through the weekend. And then this week we are in Mexico for the Vivian Mexico Open. Not a ton of big names there, but I do know that world number one, John Rahm, will be in the field there. So that's something we'll have to take a look at later in the week. And what I really wanted to get to, I have to say, for the first time since LIV, has started, I have to say, I was actually impressed. And I didn't get to watch the broadcast, but I just saw, highlights on Instagram, Twitter. So this was in Australia at the Grange Golf Club, so Adelaide, Australia. And I think part of, a couple of things as to why it seemed to be such a successful event. You have a few golfers that are from Australia, obviously, the most notable being the reigning Open champion, Cameron Smith. But you also have Mark Leishman as well. And then, LIV Golf CEO and Commissioner Greg Norman there. And I think what it is, they don't really get, there isn't any, PGA Tour events in Australia. I want to say the Ryder Cup might have been, at Royal St. Melbourne a few years back, but, they don't regularly see big golf names there. So I think that's what the excitement was. But let me tell you, the crowd there, I think there was over 100,000 people in the crowd. And I want to say, maybe the last 7 LIV events, that especially the ones that are stateside here, wouldn't even have that amount of crowds combined. So it was like the Waste Management. That's what it reminded me of. Major Championship. They had a similar hole. I forgot what the nickname of it is, but something similar to the 16th at TPC Scottsdale. And Brooks Koepka's brother Chase actually had a hole-in-one, and it was like even more beer and stuff than we've seen at the Waste Management.
Awesome.
All just dumped on him. He said for the rest of the round, he just reeked of beer. Like they went that nuts about it. And we really saw some outstanding golf, in a course that I think going into this, everybody thought was pretty gettable. But Taylor Gooch, I think I mentioned it on Friday, fired that 62. He also had a 62 on Saturday to have a 10-shot lead at 20 under going into yesterday's round. And he did kind of struggle yesterday. Shot a 73, but that was good enough for a 3-shot victory over Anirban Lahari, who came in at 16 under par, and then tied for third. 3-way tie, Cam Smith, Patrick Reed, and Cameron Tringali. We also saw Phil, coming off that tied second in the Masters, have a strong performance at 12 under par, 70, 65, 69. And also Brooks Koepka, who went 69, 65, 70. And he also finished at 12 under par. So it was one of the first times that I was like, wow, I mean, I think this was actually a success. And I'm sure the ratings on the CW were probably still weak, but to get that type of environment in the crowd, I have to say I was pretty impressed with it. It almost makes me feel like, is that the play for Liv, at least right now, to really attack the international market or places, whether they're in the US or other countries where there just isn't golf tournaments. So the fans are just earning to see this stuff up front. And I think Australia being so far away, I think that's the place to capitalize. I don't think, they have any other events there, on their schedule this season, but I have to say thoroughly impressed at the crowd there. I mean, it really felt like a big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to hear. And I think you're right, where their marketing strategy, I guess, should be for, people outside of the PGA, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, about how players feel about the Live Tour, especially who, are like, I guess you can say like the veteran PGA followers who are like traditionalists and stuff like that, very prideful of the PGA. They're not going to go watching Live Tour events. So if you kind of attack, a different type of, I guess, audience, and then you're kind of hitting like what you're talking about, where it's rowdy, it's exciting, a beer thrown on the course. That is seemingly like what the PGA is almost evolving into as well. So, I mean, if you hammer that more so, I think you're gonna get people like yourself where you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like, it's impressive to see this turnout and sort of deal and create more of a buzz around it, which is interesting. I would like to see, honestly, numbers in the CW or Pix 11, whatever, to see if their ratings were pretty good. I don't know if you watched the broadcast, like in terms of like, did it look good? Like,
yeah, I didn't get to. I mean, I think it looked okay, but you know what the problem is too? They do it live, and it was in Australia, so it was just like overnight. Like you wake up in the morning, the thing's done. So doesn't really give you the opportunity. So I guarantee the ratings were probably like an all-time low, if there even is such a thing, because they've been so low. But I think at least it's an in-person start. And I'm sure the players enjoyed it because, the thing is, bless you. You're in Portland, you're in Orlando, you're in Arizona. You're not going to get this type of environment. So, it'd be interesting to see kind of, the rest of the way, how these tournaments fare. And also, I think still a big thing, even though, we know that there are, some big names that are on this tour. But I think to grab a couple more, I think that's when you would really see, some success. So I was just taking a look at kind of their upcoming schedule. So usually there's always a week in between, but they are going back-to-back weeks here after taking off last week. So Singapore is actually up. So that tournament will begin on Friday. Following that, you're going to get a week off, and then Tulsa, I think that could see
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I could see that not really doing that well. And then you're to DC again. I don't know. I mean, it is at Trump National there. I know that's a beautiful course. So,
Right.
maybe people want to turn out there. And then they go to Spain and London. I know they had the London event last year. And then they go to Greenbrier, which is in North Carolina. And I know that used to be a PGA Tour event, so maybe they'll have some success there. Not too far away after that, they go to New Jersey for Trump National Bedminster, and then Chicago, Miami, and then they finish up the season in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So, it'll be interesting to see some of those national stops. But like I said, unless it's a place in the U.S. where there hasn't been a tournament, in a really, really long time, or the closest tournament is 8 hours away or something. Maybe that's going to be the key, because I think the international interest will be there, but it's like, how do they get the U.S. interest? And at least in live form, I think a big part, and we saw them, get that Mayakoba venue, and I know it was in Mexico from the PGA Tour, but I think that will be big too if they can get other PGA Tour venues.
Yeah.
It's still a tremendous uphill battle for sure, but you get John Rahm.
Yeah.
That could change things. I don't think you will. But I guess I would say for the first time, this tournament this weekend did open my eyes a little bit.
That's cool. Is there you mentioned the Live Tour getting PGA Tour courses. Is there is that not allowed sort of deal? Do those courses have a sole contract with the PGA that they can't really?
Well, I think what it is and especially, I mean, I guess it would be the same for Live, but it's like the course has to be shut down for 4 months before these events, so they're not going to have more than one event a year.
Oh my God, really?
No one can play it. Yeah, the preparation. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but at least 2 months. I'll tell you that.
This isn't like a work on it during the weekend sort of deal.
Work on it. No. They want it to be like Augusta National, Tony. So, that's something to keep an eye out for. I just wanted to see too, and I believe we do have a couple comments.
Yes, we do have some comments here from our Pride and Faithful fans here. Matthew Gabriel says, "Look at yous, Brian. Nice hat, bro. Love it." He says, "Florida." Renee comes in hot with the Monday. And then we have OAGCT with the nice fire emojis.
And remind me one more time.
It's one of my undergrad students, Chris.
Okay. Teacher of the Year award.
Yeah, dude, that's what they say.
Insight. And of course, we always appreciate hearing from Matthew, hearing from Renee. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Wow.
And then Buffer comes in, probably a little jealous. All the people getting shout outs. He says, "Yo."
Wow,
which is kind of a small greeting for Buffer.
He's up to something there, because he doesn't. That's not how he comes in. It's always like he's asking us, "Oh, what about Aaron Rodgers' date last week? In Times Square? What about that?
Did he have a date last week in Times Square? Or are you making that up?
The type of comment that he likes to leave.
But did that happen?
No. It didn't happen, but NFL draft is Thursday too, which is interesting.
I know, dude. I actually have one of my rugby players was talking to me, and he's actually going into the grad program, or might be going to the grad program me and Mike did. And he was asked about our podcast. He's like he's a big football fan, and he was curious in terms of maybe he was about coming on for the draft, and I was like, hell yeah, because I can't really talk NFL draft that well. So.
Yeah. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye out for. And here's the Buffer question.
What about Volpe following Trump on Instagram?
Good for him, Buffer. And you know what? I think that's a good segue. Let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
Wow, dude.
Pujols it's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it, Tony. Yep. And Alonso cracks one in the middle with the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. Unfortunately, we did not hear that too much this weekend as the Yankees dropped 2 of 3 at home to the Blue Jays. So, you're at home. It's a division rival. And once again, we saw the ghost of Christmas past appear again. The lack of offense being back. You had 2 games in this series, being Friday and then yesterday where you score a combined 2 runs. And it's just like we've talked about this since we started doing this show. There's nothing more frustrating. There's nothing more annoying. And there's nothing more where there's just no excuse at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup, who's on the mound, who's pitching for you. It's like you have to produce. If you can't score, you can't win. And this offensive lull began on Friday after a great offensive game on Thursday, where we talked about it, where they were able to drive in runs, didn't have to rely on the home run ball. And it was more disappointing too, because we talked about Kikuchi being on the mound, who seemingly every time he's out there, he's getting hammered on the mound, and he was able to shut them out in this one pretty well, other than one blemish. And you look at kind of how it started. Anytime you allow a Vlad Guerrero Jr. home run in the first inning to go down 2-0 before your offense even gets up to the plate, that doesn't set the right tone. So we saw that in the first inning. So already you're down 2-0, and Herman on the mound, who was coming off the best start of his career. Unfortunately, this wasn't anywhere near that start he had. So you had Oswaldo Cabrera answer back in the bottom of the second with a bullet home run to right. So it's 2-1. You're thinking, all right, we're in this. Herman settles down, doesn't, allow any damage. But unfortunately, gives up a 2-run homer to Brandon Belt, the former Giant, in the 6th inning. So that made it 4-1. And the Yankees just were really not able to scrap together much of anything, just in terms of hits, no runs. And then Albert Abreu, later would allow a double to Belt to make it 6-1. And that was the final score. And you just look at, up and down the lineup. You had only 5 hits, nobody with multiple hits here, 1 extra base hit, only 1 situation where there were even runners in scoring position. So that's pretty embarrassing. I mean, you struck out 7 times, you walked twice, but just you really couldn't get any good contact. And I thought you had a pretty good lineup here. Other than, I guess, Higgy in for Trevino, but we've seen him poke a home run out or 2 here and there. IKF got to start in center, and he did get a single. He, despite a 161 average, I think he started out like 0 for 10 or whatever it is. It seems like he's had some hits, but that's just unacceptable against a guy like Kikuchi. You expect a lot more. So that led us into Saturday, which, relatively was a good game. But once again, that struggle to score, is just so infuriating. And if you want to look at bright spots, of course, it ends up being a 3-2 win. We'll tell you how we got there, but Garrett Cole, getting the start, and as he's been all season, was great. Wasn't striking out a ton of batters, ended up striking out 4, walking 2, 4 hits, 5 2/3 innings pitched. Got the no decision in this one because the Yankees were not able to come up with anything against Alex Manoah. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And we didn't have any scoring in this one until the 8th inning. Anthony Volpe with a homer to right center, 364. So that scored Peraza. So that made it 2-0. So you felt pretty good there. Following Cole, Marinaccio was lights out. Even Clay Holmes was lights out, which we've seen him struggle to do in the early going. But Wandy Peralta gives up a home run to Danny Jansen, a 2-run shot. So we had him in for the save, and unfortunately, he doesn't get the job done. But fortunately for us, we were able to put a rally together in the 9th inning. And just to kind of give you an idea of how we got there. So it started out, Rizzo doubles to left. So, you've been struggling to get hits all game. So it was nice to see, first batter, he doubles. Then you bring an IKF to pinch run. Torres was able to get on an infield single. So then you have, first and second, and Calhoun actually walks. So that actually loaded the bases, and then you brought DJ LeMahieu off the bench to pinch hit for Frenchie Cordero. He's able to single to center, scoring IKF and getting the win here for the Yankees. So, of course, you love a walk-off win. There's no better feel. And you feel great that Garrett Cole is just dialed in. I believe he's now 5 starts in, and his ERA is still under 1. So you want to talk about an impressive start to a season. But this is a game where, 7 hits, 3 of those come in the 9th inning. And then the 3 runs come from the 8th inning on. So it's like, I get it. Manoah, despite his struggles, we know the talent is there. You got to do a better job than that. There's just no excuse, and you can't wait till the 9th inning to score all your runs. So, positives, Cole, Volpe with the home run, that was big. And then LeMahieu, coming in the clutch, coming through with runners in scoring position. That's what we've seen him do, throughout his tenure with the Yankees. When you need that single, he's there to put one in the gap. All right. So, series tied at 1. We go on to yesterday. And, I talked about this on Friday. Clark Schmidt has been so bad. So I just was like, geez, this is a game I'm not expecting to win. They don't end up winning it, but it got off to a decent start, at least with Schmidt. He doesn't, he goes 5 scoreless innings, but then unfortunately gives up 2 home runs in the 6th inning, one to Vlad Guerrero Jr. and one to Varsho. So that made it 3-0. And then you bring in Michael King. He gives up a Jansen double to make it 4-0. Ian Hamilton pitches the last 2 innings, gives up another run on a fielder's choice. So that made it 5-0 going into the bottom of the 9th. And Rizzo was able to homer to right center to avoid a shutout. But that's all they got. So here we go again. And you look at this one, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, 12 strikeouts. And I know, Kevin Gausman, he's a good pitcher. I talked about that before the series, but to not get a walk, to only have 3 hits against him, that's pretty embarrassing. And then, you're 1-2-3 against Swanson in the 8th. You did get 3 hits and a homer off of Simber in the 9th, but that was when, it was pretty much out of reach at that point. And it just doesn't leave you with a good feel. And I know it was the first series they lost of the season. So, I mean, it's not like all hope is dead and gone, but I just expected a little more, fortunately for them, their medicine over the years has always been the Minnesota Twins. And that's where they're going to start a series with them today.
Mm-hmm.
So at least, you feel good in that respect. But the Blue Jays, we know that they've been coming for you for years. You got to, put your best foot forward when you have those games against them. And clearly they did not. And the next time they're going to see them is actually going to be May 15th through 18th. So a 4-game series in Toronto. So that's going to be a huge series, but obviously we have a little time between now and then.
You going to Toronto?
Not for that one, but in September, that is in the works, possibly a box. So that would be great.
By the way, I believe it's May 12th. Are you going to that Yankee game?
What is that?
The significance?
Yeah.
Well, it's the Yankee game at home.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Star Wars night. Anthony Rizzo, Mandalorian
I did see
bobblehead,
that.
dude.
Well, we have our bobbleheads.
Yeah, but maybe we can start a collection, dude.
We could. We'll have to, do a my people talk to your people type of deal.
I mean, you know how much Michael would appreciate a Rizzo bobblehead.
Oh yeah. We'll have to sort that one out. That would be kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you go to a Yankee game, we get a bobblehead, it's a win-win, dude. Like,
no, but you gotta go too. That's the thing. Yeah. This way we'll have all bobbleheads. The whole room will be full of bobbleheads. So we'll talk more about the Minnesota series in a second, but just to give everybody a synopsis of what we have. So it's going to be Brito versus Gray tonight.
Like it.
Nestor versus Joe Ryan on Tuesday.
All right.
and then Domingo Herman versus Kenta Maeda on Wednesday.
Oh, my
So I know, road games, aren't easy, but we've had success against the Twins. So, I mean, it really would be nice. We've done a lot of like win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win two, lose two. Like, let's win a few in a row. And I think all these games are gettable. I would love to see a sweep. I would love to see an offensive explosion, and let's pound Sonny Gray. I mean, think about the torment that he put us through when he was here, constantly giving up home runs and kind of complaining and just all this stuff, the fans, the ballpark, and not just stepping up and doing the job. So let's just show him that, we're not gonna get shut down by him. Let's jump over all of them early. Let's get into that bullpen early, and let's get the offense going again. I mean, the home runs have been tough to come by. Feels like everybody except Rizzo's in a slump.
Yeah.
I mean, Volpe, I think since moving to that, top spot in the lineup, we've seen more signs of life, but still, let's string together a couple in a row. I think that's the thing. There's been no consistency with the offense this season.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of tough, dude. Why do you think that is?
I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just, but it's like I said, it's just too eerily similar to like what we've seen the last couple of years at stretches. You think obviously the postseason going back to 2017. You think about that brutal stretch in the summer last year where it was like scoring 2 runs was an achievement.
Yeah.
And like the same thing where you don't get a couple home runs, or guys are all cold at the same time. Let's get everybody on fire at the same time. How about that concept? Tony?
Yeah, I like that, dude.
I
know that feeling.
3 games in Minnesota. Then we'll have 4 in Texas, which should be a fun series.
Wow.
And again, gettable games. We're facing Heaney, Eovaldi, DeGrom mixed in there. DeGrom versus Schmidt, but DeGrom's been inconsistent with Texas so far, so we'll have to see that. And then a quick 3-game homestand against Cleveland before back on the road to Tampa before returning home to Oakland and Tampa. So that's what we got coming up for the Yankees. Before we go to the Mets, I believe we have a couple more comments.
Yes, we have a few more from Buffer, actually, which says Blue Jays are tough. And then he goes on to say, let's go Mets. Alonso playing like Babe Ruth. Joey Lucchesi could not have come at a better time. Nimmo, MVP, he says. We'll get into that. He has mentioned Mets 7-3 West Coast trip half game back from first place. Love it. He's hyped. Then Donna Barnaby says, Brian, you need to take over the Yankees coaching / managerial duties.
I mean, my mom will tell you. I mean, is that really a bad idea? I mean, that
Probably.
sounds pretty good.
I don't know, man.
Tony, come on. You think that I don't have the wherewithal to get the most out of these guys?
I think you're going to make some significant cuts off rip.
Well, the thing that's tough is the most frustrating part, and I'm just trying my best, and in a big decisive win and Gray being chased in the 3rd inning today will definitely get me back to where I was before this Blue Jays series. But the thing that's really tough is we've been clamoring for them to play, the younger guys. Volpe starting every day. With the Donaldson injury, Peraza has been playing a lot, and so is Cabrera. We haven't seen much of Hicks, and it's still not like, I know it's a small sample size, but the runs are just not coming in bunches. But I don't know. Maybe they're just getting the bad ones out of the way. Hopefully. But I just, Texas is a good hitter's ballpark. Minnesota's a bigger ballpark, but it's good for guys like LeMahieu, hitting gaps. And of course, Volpe as well, where you get the ball rolling around in the corner. That's a long throw into the infield. We could see a couple triples in this one. So I'm optimistic, but like, let's go. Cause it really just waking up today, it's just, one of those days, like you don't even want to listen to sports radio. I mean, there's nothing good is out there because there's nothing positive to reflect upon. And just one other thing here, just kind of prove my point. So going back to last Friday, which is over a week, you scored 3 against the Twins. You had a nice 6th spot the Saturday after. Then you only scored 2 against Minnesota, 2 against LA, 3 against LA, the nice 9 spot against LA, but then 1 against Toronto, 3 against Toronto, 1 against Toronto. I mean, that's a pretty porous offensive weak
Yeah.
stretch there.
Yeah, that is tough, dude.
So
The hell.
I hope, this time next week, I'm talking about how it was 10,
Right.
8, 7. Let's go.
Are they like striking out a lot? Like
No, it's just not being explosive.
Ugh.
So let's do something here. We'll give you the preview on tonight's game in a sec, but let's talk New York Mets, Tony.
Yes, New York Mets. Speaking of losing 2 out of 3, the Mets also lost 2 out of 3 this weekend against the Giants in San Francisco. I gotta first say though, before we get into the games, I think San Francisco is definitely like one of the top parks to visit on my list.
It looks pretty nice. My sister and her husband were there, and they said it was unbelievable.
Dude, just on TV. I mean, obviously they lucked out with the weather. It was perfect sunny days and everything. And they just like have this sick drone shot of the side of the stadium with the water.
The
and you see
legends,
the canoes and
Renee
everything.
coming in hot
Good
coffees
morning,
all
Renee.
over the place.
Hot, cold coffees all over the place. But anyway, Brian. So
you want to go to Oracle Park? That's
yes,
it.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I think we should go. Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yankees Giants.
Book it. Yankees. No, stop it. Anyway, dude. So you're gonna Friday here. We know the pitching scenario with the Mets here has not been I guess, really optical at all. Optical. Whatever,
Ideal.
dude. Ideal.
There you go.
Is what I'm looking for. Joey Lucchesi, on the mound, right? And you think you have some flashbacks of last season of him just absolutely struggling. Having a tough time to really put anything, too consistently good innings together at all in any of his outings. So you're kind of worried about him. He throws 7 innings, giving up only 4 hits, 2 walks, no earned runs, and gets 9 strikeouts. He threw 97 pitches, 65 of them were strikes. He did an absolutely phenomenal job, honestly, on the mound for the Mets. Thank you, Renee. As Buffer was alluding to in his comment, and you kind of like look upon really like what his outing looked like. He ended up with 9 strikeouts. He only had 2 after the 4th inning. Struck out the side in the 7th. So like he just kind of like started the game relying a lot on his sinker and his curveball. And he was getting a lot of ground outs and everything, but like just as the innings went on, he just gained this level of confidence and his pitches, got more like pinpoint accurate, and he was just able to work the strike zone, start getting strikeouts, fooling batters, behind his pitches, striking out, swinging, throwing in a little fastball and a changeup when he needed to, but really relying a lot on that curve and that sinker. Really all day. And like I said, he just like the progression every inning, he was getting better and more confident on the mound. And you really, again, like, as a Met fan, I mean, you think of what your starting rotation looked like at the beginning of the season, coming into the season, and how much you expected it to be dominant. And obviously some injuries and suspensions later, it's kind of flipped upside down. And to have, Joey come in here and throw a good outing, 7 great innings, is, I think, a good breath of fresh air for Mets fans. You really hope that this guy could continue to do this, because that would just be great to have a good pitcher, which is really, and we'll get into the rest of the weekend too. But other than that, Mets win this game 7-0, right? So you had Rayleigh and Tommy Hunter come in to relieve and close out the game. They did a great job throwing an inning each. Rayleigh got 2 Ks. In the 8th, Hunter was able to get 1, through 16 pitches. Control was like a little off, but we see that a lot with Hunter. But anyway, he closed out the game. That's great. Scoring started early too. 2nd inning, it was classic Mets getting on base. And then guys bringing him in. Scoring started 2nd inning, as I said. Guillaume RBI single. Kana scored. Beatty, who had a good game, was able to go to 3rd. 5th inning. You get a little bit of a mistake there by the Giants defense, a throwing error by Bart, brought in Guillaume actually to score. And then 5th inning as well, Alonso homers for his 10th at the time, right? 415 feet, a towering homer. And then in the 9th too, they scored 2 more times, Alonso with an RBI single and Vogelbach with an RBI single. You look at the rest of the box score here. The lineup did great. Again, as before was alluding to, Nimmo's been absolutely killing it. He was 2 for 4 on Friday. McNeil was 2 for 4. Alonso was 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Vogelback 2 for 4, and then Guillorme 2 for 4. Then I mentioned, Beatty with a good hit. He was 1 for 5. His offense has been getting better. You'll have to see that. At that point, Alvarez was 0 for 4, kind of tough for him. But runners in scoring position, the Mets were 5 for 9. I want to say their best percentage of scoring with runners in scoring position all season in any game, 5 for 9, which is great to see that. Of course, you expect maybe a little bit better. It'd be nice if you were like 8 for 9, 7 for 9, but 5 for 9, you'll take it. And of course, a 7-0 victory against the Giants, where a game you would have thought was, your weakest, I guess, odds of winning is great. Moving forward to Saturday and Sunday, as I mentioned, they did lose 2 out of 3. So you can imagine the Mets are going to be losing the next 2 games here. We're recapping. Kind of tough here.
David Peterson
was on the mound, dude. And again, you're worried about Peterson for sure because he's another pitcher who's super inconsistent. But I want to say it's been kind of like 50-50, I guess, with him. It really is like a flip of the coin when he's on the mound. Unfortunately, this was not a good flip because he pitched 5 innings and gave up 7 runs here.
Did he give up 7 his last start, 2 or 6 or something?
I think so. I can double check.
Against the A's or something, and they won?
Like pretty high. Let's see. Against the Dodgers, he gave up 6. They won.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So not great from him so far. His ERA this season is at 7.36. He is 1-3. So think about that. Actually, it's ironically enough, his only win was against the Dodgers. But you look at what he was doing, and obviously, nothing was really great here from him. Fortunately enough, the Mets were kind of battling back. I mean, he gave 4 runs up in the first, 2 in the second, and then 1 in the 5th. So I mean, it was just really tough, dude. I mean, giving up 7 hits, 7 runs. Especially that early, very hard to come back. The Mets were kind of able to come back a little bit as kind of Vogelback picks up another RBI double here. In the second, they were able to score. In the third, Nimmo homers, you able to score again. It's like, but at that point, after the third, it's 6-2, dude. And you're like, oh my God. It was just like when it started to rain and it was pouring runs for the Giants. 5th inning gives up another home run to, of course, Flores, right? Amazing how much good the, Darren Ruff, Michael Conforto, J.D. Davis, Wilmer Flores, all these guys doing pretty well, ironically enough, against the Mets. Darren Ruff of all, he had an RBI single in the second off of Peterson. I mean, nothing was really good. Obviously, super hard to come back from that. But, you look at the lineup. I mean, Beatty did well, 2 for 4. Connor was 2 for 3. Beatty had that RBI, of course. I mentioned Nimmo with the home run too. That was nice to see some offense still. I mean, he still scored, 4 runs against the Giants, against a pretty good Logan Webb, Logan Webb pitched well. He pitched 7 innings, gave up only 2 runs, 8 Ks. We know the talent that is Logan Webb. And I want to say, after this 7-4 loss, you're thinking like, all right, Logan Webb was definitely our toughest matchup from the Giants. We know they could produce on offense. Peterson wasn't doing well. Whatever, dude. It's Sunday. We got Tyler McGill on the mound. Let's wrap it up. We've been scoring some nice runs here. McGill probably give us a good outing. Well, unfortunately, McGill does not give you a good outing. You look at his numbers. Only gives you 4 innings. He gives up 4 runs. Only 1 walk and 2 Ks here. He have 6 hits. He was really struggling with just leaving sliders just hanging over the middle of the plate. And again, you gave the Giants some momentum on Saturday in terms of stringing along hits, lineup getting confidence. You had Wade Jr. go 2 for 4 for the Giants. Lamont Wade Jr. Mike Yastrzemski went 2 for 4 with a dinger, I believe. Estrada went 1 for 3 with a dinger. Sable. The catcher?
Yeah, the catcher. Yep. They're splitting time with him and Bart.
Bart, which I get. He's pretty solid. 1 for 2. He came with I think a big hit. He had an RBI. So I mean, the Giants lineup was really hitting on Tyler McGill, and it was super tough to watch. Because again, like I was saying, you thought there would be a good chance for a bounce back, kind of outing for him. Mets in general were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Bullpen did all right. Bring him through 2 innings. Got 4 Ks over those 2 innings. Gave up no hits, no earned runs. Did a great job. Really also did a great job. He pitched the 7th inning. Struck out the side. Gave up only struck out the side with 3 Ks there. And then Drew Smith, which was kind of tough. In the 8th. Threw 1 inning, gave up 1 earned run. I think that was the Estrada home run, I want to say, or maybe it was the Sable RBI, I think. Just double checking. Oh no, Yastrzemski. RBI double. Jock Peterson came back from injury. I think he had a wrist injury. Jock Peterson for San Fran.
Yeah, just came off the IL. I have him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, he had a pretty productive night. Came up big for the Giants. I don't know. It was just kind of one of those gritty wins, those close, tight games that you just want to see, the Mets kind of grind out. Unfortunately, it was the Giants who grinded it out. Sorry.
Bless you.
Allergies, dude. Talking about grinding it out.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. But nonetheless, dude, like Prefer said, you went 7-3 on the West Coast trip. You're back home against the Nationals here. Expecting to kind of string along maybe some better at bats, some better starts from some of your pitchers. They're off today. You get the off day. That's cool. Rest up. They had a long road trip, right? So, you're still in a good position here. Like I said, you had a good road trip. Yeah, you dropped 2 of 3 against the Giants, a team you think you should be beating, but your rotation isn't exactly where you think it should be or where it is at all, dude. I mean, think about it. Like, imagine, like, kind of the same thing with you. Like, why can't the Yankees just be hitting? Like, why can't the Mets just have like good, healthy pitchers? Like, why can't?
Yeah, and like, why can't Stanton just play 150 games?
Like, why can't Scherzer and
no, just do it.
Like Verlander just be healthy and pitch well like you're supposed to? Like,
no, that would be too crazy.
That would be too crazy to ask, dude. Like, I just God forbid you have 2 consistently good starting pitchers in your rotation. It's kind of fucking ridiculous when you really think about it. Thank God our bullpen's been doing so well. Thank God we've gotten some good at bats. Alvarez got his first home run as a Met. First career home run in general yesterday. So that was nice to see that after, as I mentioned before the show, him, grounding double play with bases loaded and 1 out, so hopefully, he can get kind of loosened up at the plate a little bit.
I think they got to play him more. He's played in half the games that he's been on the active roster. Why?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess you're not wrong. I mean, he hasn't really made many defensive mistakes, I suppose, as a catcher.
That first game.
Yeah, since that first game. So that's good to see. I think, again, maybe some more time would be nice. But, I mean, again, like, it's just tough sometimes because you look at some of his at-bats and he's just swinging at things just way out of the strike
Growing
zone.
pains.
And, yeah, I know. It's just
Major
tough,
league
dude.
level.
Yeah, you can definitely see there's a learning curve for him, but I'd be down to give him some more PT. Why not? I mean, what? Come on, dude. I mean, you have Nito as your other option, so it's not like there's like, whoa, my gosh, get him some more time for sure. But like I said, rest up today. Nationals sweep. That should be pretty easy.
Corbin pitching during the series?
I don't know. I would imagine so.
Let's
just double check. Sure. Game 1, we have Josiah Gray. Game 2, you got Michael Gore, I believe his first name is. Mackenzie Gore.
Came over in the Soto deal.
Oh, yeah. And then, wow, Trevor Williams.
So you don't get Patrick Corbin
on Thursday, no. But, I mean, all the same, dude.
Do you think they'll do a tribute video for Trevor Williams?
Wow, dude.
Part of the postseason run last year.
I don't know about a tribute video. Maybe like a nice front end animation, and maybe something like that. As we do have a few comments here, actually. Great jersey, Anthony Matthew says, and then he says, "Wonder what Tony is wearing today." Ha ha.
I don't. What could you enlighten me there?
Him and Matthew and Michael were doing this thing. So I shaved my mustache. It's like now I'm Anthony. Like Tony's. Like,
right. Alternate personality.
Yeah. It's like split.
Seems like you're a little annoyed by it, Tony.
Yeah, no, I'm not annoyed by it, but it's like,
But basically, yeah, a little bit.
God forbid Tony shaves,
I mean, it's already basically back at this point. I mean, you got the 5 o'clock shadow at least.
I know, pretty crazy, dude. It's been, I guess I shaved. It's been 5 days. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, dude, Buffer also says check out the Mets' next 14 game schedule is super easy, except I was gonna say they're playing the Braves. Verlander making his first start against the Detroit Tigers. Well, that's kind of poetic, I guess.
Very poetic.
Yeah. So you do have to see that. I mean, obviously, easy schedule except the Braves. The Braves are
4 games separate for that's 4 out of the 10 games. What are you talking about?
So it's actually like a pretty important series. You
Yeah.
know, we mentioned half game behind them right now. Braves have been so hot. I mean, you want to at least establish some type of, you can be a contending team against the Braves right now, which will be super tough, I think, without Scherzer. And without, well, actually, no, I guess Scherzer will be back May 1st. So that will be.
It won't be. Well, they have Senga listed, so I don't know if they would bump up Senga to Sunday and then have Scherzer pitch Monday.
They have Senga listed for
a wraparound series. You don't see that too much.
Yeah, no, not at all. But what Senga's listed for what day?
He's listed for Monday.
Really?
Yep. So you have Peterson Freed on Friday,
right?
McGill Strider on Saturday, undecided on Sunday, and then Senga on Monday.
Interesting. Because that is the day that Scherzer's supposed to be back. So
maybe they'll bump him up.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I don't know if it's that easy. I mean, I know Washington's a train wreck. But then Detroit, anytime you have a road series in a team that's in the other league that you don't really face much, I feel like you just can't assume it. Like you saw that Oakland series. I get it. They swept them. Couple tight games in there. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we're just gonna score 10 in the first and just coast,
Yeah, no, of course not. I don't know, dude. I mean, I feel like the Tigers have shown like
some signs of life. Javi Baez, little revenge spot there.
Yeah, is he? He's been like trash all season though. He got benched for a while for making some stupid. I forget what the play. Oh, I think it was like. I think you forgot how many outs it was, and it was like a fly out to center field. He thought there was 2 outs.
Benny Agbayani.
What?
Tossed it into the stands. You don't remember? 2000, Benny Agbayani, the former Met great.
He did what?
There was 2. He made the second out of an inning, tossed it in the stands.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, I do remember. Oh my god. But this was a little bit more like I think he was on first base and he was like already at third, and then they threw him out for. It was just, and he was just like tight bench, take your jersey off, go into the clubhouse. Like I don't know. There's gonna be any revenge spots for.
Just wanted to see. So no homers this season, and he's hitting 203. Just to give you an update there.
How's that for you?
And how
like
about how about the Tigers? They have hit 15 home runs, and their leader is Nick Mitone with 3, and he's hitting 129. So you want to talk about lack of offense?
That's
Tony.
a little tough, dude.
Yeah. So maybe it is an easy schedule other than the Braves, but I just think
nothing's a given, dude.
That's a third of the schedule before. You know what I mean?
But also it's like, I mean, yeah, it's an easy schedule, but I mean, like you look at some of the, again, the starting pitching situation. I mean, it's not great. Like Lucchesi they're all ticking time bombs in my eyes. They could have a great outing.
Renee re-enters, bag in hand. No, but also I was going to mention, Tony, bigger ballpark. I mean, I feel like the Mets have a tendency to hit some fly balls. Those are outs at Comerica. I mean, those fences are deep.
Correct. Very deep. So I don't know. Again, I'm excited to watch the games, dude. I'm super pumped to catch some games, honestly.
And the Nationals, the Nationals are at home here. We might have to get some for the watch party tonight. We're gonna have to get some laptop stuff for the baseball, Tony.
I mean, it's not really my priority, dude.
You're kidding. You're not. I thought you said you're excited to watch it. Just like, or is it just the Rangers are on? Like the Mets could lose 10-0. You're not even sweating it.
Are the Mets not off? They're off today, no?
No, aren't they playing Washington?
No.
Are you looking at last year's schedule?
No, today's Monday, April 24th.
Are they really off?
Yeah. Big road trip off day, and then they're back at home tomorrow.
I don't know why I was. Wow.
It's okay, dude. Maybe you were looking at last year's schedule.
I feel like I still, even though like you obviously just looked at it, for some reason I'm just feeling the need to look at it myself.
No, go ahead.
I was looking at the master schedule, and I think they were originally supposed to play.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I mean, obviously, if the Mets were playing, it would be definitely a laptop situation. But even so, I
Yeah,
mean,
just because it's the Yankees, it doesn't matter. We get it, Tony.
I'm
We
just
get it.
saying, like, it's about the Rangers tonight, dude. I
I
don't
know,
care
but-
who was playing. I watched the Mets game yesterday. It was great.
But
Had a great time.
But given that the Mets lost 2 out of 3 over the weekend,
Right.
if they were hypothetically playing, you'd be a little anxious to see. All right, we're gonna score some runs. Like, what's the pitching gonna look like?
Yes. Let me just tell you this though. I think I'd be more worried about the chicken wing situation at the watch party. Okay.
I don't know. You lose 2 out of 3. I mean, come on. You know the feeling. It's just you want to
No, I do.
win. You want
Yeah.
some offense.
How about I want the Rangers to win? Okay, in regulation.
So
showing
do
a
I.
dominant
But I
performance,
just
dude.
I need a win in Minnesota tonight. Look, I need it in the worst way.
No,
really
yes,
do.
you do. Yeah, for sure. I understand that, especially against Minnesota here. And I will be possibly peeking down at your laptop while you're watching, not during the game, but listen, like, it's a big game here. All right. And, like we watched the other game at Maddie's on Saturday. And it was great. But obviously, Devils won in overtime. You can imagine Michael with the looks, the faces, the whatnots.
Well, there'll be some looks if as long as everything goes according to plan tonight.
Dude. But it's just like, let's just all sit down.
Yep.
All right. And just watch the game. Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. What do we got on the docket in terms of games? I want to say 7 maybe today for the MLB.
So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, 11. Okay. We'll do our usual 3. And since, the Mets are off, I guess we'll kind of go out of sequence here. I'll get started.
Oh, wow.
But you have a 3-game advantage here, 24 points, 21 points. Going back to Thursday, you had the old sweep there to increase the lead. You're already up 2.
Let's go,
now
dude.
it's 3. And then Prefer is asking when the next Sunday live show at the Horseshoe is.
Yeah, he wants to know, when are we at the Horseshoe? May 21st.
What are
Mark
the
your
chances
calendar,
you're
dude.
actually going to be there, Prefer?
I mean, you have a month to figure it out before.
Barnes is going to beat me up. That's around
Yeah.
the corner.
But for, it's like cheaper drinks for you. They have great food at the Horseshoe, billiards, sports show. I mean, I think it's just all around a great time. May 21st, you got a month to figure it out, bud.
Yeah, exactly. Prefer get it together. All right, you can take the day off from golf or play in the morning. I mean, we're probably gonna be 6:30 again, right?
Yeah, you would imagine so. Yeah, Sunday night for sure.
So yeah, tee off
Sunday
at 10. Prefer.
evening,
I mean,
dude.
you plenty of time. Okay, I know those Westchester courses get packed, but you can still get here by 5. I mean, come on. I don't want to meet my heroes. I will be disappointed. Just some lame jargon he's got going on right now.
I feel like that's also kind of a jab at us. Like,
Yeah.
he's disappointed when he meets us in person because we're not what do you think?
Well, at least what I can say, Prefer. We're not going to be disappointed when we meet you because the expectations are not too high with comments like that. All right, so just wanted to get that in there. I know Tony really liked that one.
No, it's kind of funny, dude.
Anyway,
So you were going to pick the Twins to win?
Tony, come on. So 740 target field, Minnesota, actually, believe it or not, due to the strong early season performance by Sonny Gray, 2-0, 0.82 ERA, are actually minus 160. So you want to talk about throwing a couple shekels up there? I would imagine that means the Yankees are plus 120, plus 130. So decent payday there. Brito, we know it's been a mixed bag to begin. And the one thing that's been rough with him is length. Just has not been able to pitch deep into ball games. And I know, he's a rookie. He's 25 years old. He just doesn't have a lot of experience. So at least, though, last time you felt against the Angels, he gave you a decent performance, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So, let's get into the middle of the 5th inning at least. I think that would, because you got a big stretch coming up here. You don't want to burn the bullpen on the first game of the series. So at least if you could give us 5 2/3, I would be very happy. Maybe 1-run ball. And then, listen, I know Sonny Gray has been, lights out to begin this season. But I think it's a good thing in a way because that means he's due to have a clunker. You're due to have a Brito giving up 7 in the first. So let's say the Yankees, I want to say by the 3rd inning, we're going to put up 4 runs, which would be something considering how many, we scored 4 in the last 2 games, 5 in the last 3 games. So 4 in the first 3 innings would be great. And Judge's average, he's been slumping a little bit down to 244. So let's see Judge go 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, Tony. We've seen him hit him at target field before. And then I want to say Rizzo, still hitting over 300, has the 5 home runs. I could see him going 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. In Volpe, it's been a while since he's had a multi-hit game. Let's say 2 for 5, 3 steals, 4 runs scored, and an offensive onslaught. Gray out by the 5th. And I want to say the Yankees here 9-4 over the Minnesota Twins. So making a statement here. First game, getting me at ease for a game at least. And also I want to say Joey Gallo, who is back for the Twins, 5 home runs in the early going here, will actually strike out 5 times to, reminiscent of his time with the Yankees. And they take game 1 of this series and will start a streak of some representative offensive performances.
Love it, dude. Would you say an offensive onslaught?
Dude? Yeah.
Very impressive stuff.
Very good there.
Very good there, dude.
Very good there.
So good.
I
think for my first pick, by the way, I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here. I'm going to say the Orioles continue. I think they're on a 6-game win streak right now. Sweeping Detroit, sweeping Washington, now facing the Red Sox at home. This is going to be the 4th time they're going to meet this season. So far, the Red Sox actually have beaten the Orioles 2 out of 3 times. Some pretty high-scoring games here. Orioles beat them once 10-9, then the Red Sox 9-8, and then 9-5 again in favor of the Red Sox. Pretty crazy. But Baltimore, obviously, is their first game in Baltimore against the Red Sox tonight. Dean Kremer on the mound, dude. 27-year-old righty. Kind of honestly a tough few outings. I watched him against the Yankees actually get pretty popped. I think the Yankees won that one in 7-5 or something like that. But he lasted 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, got into some trouble. Look at the rest of his starts too. Against Oakland, got in some trouble too. 4 innings, 4 earned runs. But, against Washington last Tuesday, 6 2/3, gave up only 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, more importantly, 6 Ks. So it seems like he's kind of honing in a little bit. He has seen the Red Sox before this season, didn't do too well, but like I said, I think watching him against Washington was kind of a breath of fresh air for him. You'd expect maybe him to kind of hone in and get Baltimore a dub here to improve Baltimore's record to 15-7, mind you. They've actually been on quite the tear and having a good start to the season. Mountcastle leading the team with 6 home runs. Give me a dinger for him tonight, dude. Give me the Orioles. A little bit of a change up in terms of their matchups against the Red Sox. Lower scoring. Orioles win this 4-2.
I feel like you're forgetting one thing. You're going to be like, oh, I forgot about that. Going to see them firsthand tomorrow.
Wow.
The sweet,
dude. That's right. I did forget.
I unfortunately, it would have been nice to see Sale get popped.
I know. Who was pitching for them tomorrow?
Oh my God, it's such a bad pitching matchup. I'm actually pulling it up.
Bradish versus Corey Kluber.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh my. I mean, talk about the over.
Dude, Kyle Bradish.
Kyle Bradish. But I am excited to see the Orioles actually because I feel like they're a really solid team. Mateo had a little hip discomfort, but he's back. He's been stealing, slapping singles. So I think they're gonna make the playoffs this year.
Are you gonna get some nice Oriole merch or something while you're there?
A
t-shirt.
That's the thing.
Rutschman. Come on.
I can't wear Oriole stuff, but we'll see what's available. Maybe GAF will toss us something. Obviously, if they do, we could toss it right up in the air. But muscle memory, Tony, buying a division rivals apparel. It's like you getting a Brave shirt. You're not going to do it.
Well, I mean,
this is when you go, if I went to the Brave Stadium, I'd get a shirt.
I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would, dude.
And you'd wear it.
Not like regularly.
Well, then see, what's the point? Just to hang it in the rafters?
No. First of all, Yeah, I would hang it up here.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean, though. Just to stare at it. You're not gonna wear it. So
Well, anytime, first of all, I would wear it that day for sure.
wear it
What are
that
we talking about?
day.
We're talking about a t-shirt or like a jersey or something, dude?
Anything, any
Yeah,
Brave apparel.
Sure, dude. A hat, I'd wear it that day. And then anytime for any reason at all where, Braves are playing and I can root for them, I would wear it. Be like, oh, yeah, Braves are great, dude. Look at their fucking organization.
But all I'm saying is, I mean, basically the easiest thing is playing, especially division, you're kind of out of luck. But
the division's tough, dude.
Other league, cross league is pretty easy. You don't really play them that much. But even in the same league, it's kind of tough, even though, okay, we don't play the White Sox that much or whatever. I don't know. I guess we could get by there. Would you say same thing for the Mets or no?
Yeah.
Where you'd wear it if you like the color. It's like, bless you. But would it be tough, for instance, because last year, obviously, bad memories, wildcard series, like if you were in San Diego, would it be tough for you to get a jersey, wear a hat, wear a sweatshirt?
Wow, a sweatshirt. I don't think so. I mean, there's players on the Padres, that I'm fond of.
So wouldn't you'd wear that? You'd wear it if it was like nice color scheme.
Yeah, dude. Like the Padres jersey that's like all like retro and shit, dude. That thing is sick.
Yeah,
I would love that actually.
So I just figured, that was kind of interesting.
Well, if you want to pick me up an Orioles jersey, dude, obviously feel free. I'm sure they have
maybe
a nice
there'll be
merch
some
store,
giveaway that I'm not expecting.
Perhaps a bobblehead, dude.
Jim Palmer. All right, so I'm gonna take the Braves. They are facing the Marlins. I know you were thinking about it for your next pick. Your guy, Strider. Marlins, decent in the early going. But Strider, I just think against the Marlins, who struggle to score runs, have good pitching, good defense, but struggle to score runs other than Jazz Chisholm. So I just think Strider will mow him down here. Maybe a low scoring game. Maybe Cabrera pitches decently. Tickets as low as $4. Imagine if we were in the Miami area. We could probably sit behind home plate for $80.
That's ridiculous.
But anyway, I'm gonna say Strider 12 Ks over 6. Braves 4-1 over the Marlins.
Yeah, I like it there.
Very good there.
Very good there. You talk about divisional rivals, the Braves here. I'm gonna take the Phillies, I think, tonight at home in Philly. You got Seattle Mariners there. Logan Gilbert on the mound here, who I think has been kind of a disappointment, honestly. Especially look at his numbers this season. He is 1-1, an ERA of 3.57. Look at his last few starts. Milwaukee, 6 innings, 4 earned runs. Cleveland, 4 innings, 3 earned runs. It just doesn't give you consistent length. I feel like gives up a lot of runs. I guess Milwaukee gave up 2 home runs, actually. Does have some good strikeout stuff, but I just feel like, the Phillies here, between Schwarber, Bohm, Turner, even Marsh out there too. I just think that there's going to be an absolute batting practice scenario for the Phillies. I know they've been certainly not off to the start they want at 11-12. They are on a 3-game win streak though, beating Colorado 3 times, 3 out of 4 actually. But you look at that, they scored 17 runs in the last 3 games. So the bats have been kind of coming around here. First time they're facing the Mariners. They have Bailey Falter on their mound, 25-year-old lefty, actually. His numbers aren't great as well. He had a solid outing against Chicago, 7 innings, 3 earned runs. But before that, struggling to get past the Reds, giving up 5 runs. But I just think maybe we'll run into some trouble with Seattle. But I just think the Phillies offense will certainly, I think, outweigh the Mariners offense. I say the Phillies win this one 7-5.
So I know you're gonna get a kick out of this one.
Chokery?
And you know what? And it's funny. No. It actually has to do with fantasy baseball. So in the league I am, 18 teams, and when you want like priority on free agents, you could bid dollars. Like they're not actual dollars, but like your free agent allotment is for the whole season is $200. So I had an outside shot of winning my matchup, and I ended up winning. So I picked up like Bailey Hubert on the Twins, and I didn't really have anybody I necessarily wanted to drop, but I was like, you know what? I keep saying about Syndergaard, he hasn't done great, so I just let him go. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to add him back, but I'm not going to like blow my whole budget.
Right.
So forgot, busy morning, didn't look at it. Someone picked him up for $66. Like, are you kidding? I mean, he's 0-3. His ERA is in the 4s. He's throwing 93. Like, I'm not saying that he can't like turn it around, but he's worth almost a third of your season budget. I know it's
ridiculous. Yeah.
That's
That's a terrible move, dude.
yeah. So you know what? That guy can have him. So
I wouldn't pay $5 for him. Okay, dude.
and it's kind of a weird team name, KC and JoJo.
What is that?
I don't know.
Who-
It's
do you
probably
know-
one of those things
Is it
like
just like a random league or who?
random. Yeah, I actually don't know any of the people. Pooch got me in it, and it's I don't
Pooch
know.
in it?
So we've split a team, but this year, he's like, oh, you always just check
You
the team.
take
You can
it?
just do
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. So I just thought that was insane. But
You
we'll
should
see how
message
it
him right now. Tell me he's an idiot.
I hope I should screenshot it and put it in the Facebook chat.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But I'm gonna go with the Angels at home here. Heavy favorites
Nice.
against the A's. Worst team in the league at 4-18. You got former Yankee farmhand great Ken Waldichuk going against Jose Suarez. Obviously, both guys struggling in the early going. But I just think the Angels, Trout, Ohtani, I mean, they should be able to do a decent amount of damage against this A's team. And, right now the Angels are 500. So looking at this as an opportunity, so I could see Waldichuk, he's still the ability's there, but he's just not comfortable in the major leagues yet. You could see it when he's out on the mound, just labors a lot. So I think they'll chase him early. I think Trout and Ohtani will each go deep. And I think this is going to be ugly. I'm going to say 8-2 Angels as the A's fall to 4-19.
Wow. Well, I think for my third and final, right?
Third and final, yep.
We're just talking about the Dodgers. Talking about Noah Syndergaard. As much as I kind of was going to take Pittsburgh, I have a feeling, Brian drops Syndergaard. Someone else picks him up. Syndergaard naturally is going to have a good outing, I feel.
Probably.
Yeah. And, you'll get the Dodgers and what they've been. I mean, Max Muncy has had 4 home runs in his last 4 games. He's been absolutely on fire. And, again, the firing power of their lineup. I know Oviedo, right?
Yeah.
It's Johan Oviedo.
Yep.
I think he fanned 10 Cardinals over 7 innings, a couple hours ago. He's had some great stuff, but I just think runs is in trouble with the Dodgers here. They're an experienced lineup. Noah Syndergaard gives you 6 innings of unearned baseball. Give me the Dodgers winning this one. I'm going to say 4-1.
Wow. Yeah. Imagine this is the no-hitter. I was just one start away, but be interesting to see what happens. Excited to see the Yankees get back to it and get a good streak going. Let's run off 5 in a row. There's no reason not to. But for now, Tony, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by the car. He flattens Jordan's stall. Oh my goodness. Gets the gun right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
I don't know if I just heard this wrong or what, but didn't you pick the Phillies?
Yeah.
They're not playing today.
Oh, is that looking at tomorrow? Oh no, dude. I must have went over to tomorrow.
And the Dodgers aren't playing.
Yeah, I was looking at tomorrow. Fuck.
If you could just
I always have some picks for tomorrow, dude.
No, we got to redo those.
Yeah, I know. All right, give me. Oh, dude, fucking A. Real quick, you took the Angels, right?
I took the Angels and the Braves, and obviously.
Give me Montgomery and the Cards.
Okay, so Cards.
Yeah. Ooh, and you know what? Give me Keller on the Royals.
Okay, Royals.
Yeah,
all right,
baby.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Glad I noticed that. And actually, I was just going through my fantasy lineups, making sure everybody's in order, and then I'm like,
oh wait, Syndergaard.
Schwarber.
Yeah.
Well, Syndergaard's not my teammate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Just
all right.
Whatever. Move on.
So
dude.
obviously, we talked about we are excited for the Rangers game tonight. Unfortunately, as we saw Saturday, the game 3, you won the first 2 in New Jersey, really looking to just put this thing to rest here and go up 3-0, and they just weren't able to do it. And it was a game that was tightly contested, that was up for grabs.
Oh yeah,
till the final buzzer. And it just wasn't good enough. But just kind of giving you an idea of how it went. We had a scoreless first period. So no action there. But Chris Kreider is outstanding postseason. He has 5 goals in 3 games.
unbelievable.
So he picked up one about 3.5 minutes into the second period, assisted by Zibanejad and Kane. So that gave the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately, give or take 7 minutes later, Jack Hughes on a power play, assisted by Dougie Hamilton and Jesper Bratt, tied it at 1. But then we had a very back and forth defensive third period, no goals scored. And I believe, right. Okay. I was like looking at the overtime number, but it's just because it just goes to. Is it or is it it's 20 minutes and then there'd be a second overtime, which we saw in the Golden Knights game.
Correct.
So we were 11.5 minutes in. Hamilton, the game winner, assisted by Bratt and Heischer, to give the Devils a 2-1 victory. And you look at the numbers on this one. So first of all, Shesterkin, 26 out of 28. So wasn't challenged a ton. I mean, you really can't ask for too much more. I mean, that performance, especially one was, in overtime. So if you just scored 2 goals in regulation, you're up 3-0. And Shesterkin clearly does his job. And it was just tough because I feel like you really challenged Schmid, the rookie goaltender here. He had to go up against 36 shots, but unfortunately he stopped 35 of them. So obviously it comes into question, the quality of shots, the quality of looks. And one big thing, a big donut, 0 for 5 on the power play.
Yeah. Dude.
We saw how strong the Rangers were in the first 2 games of this series. So that was tough. You outshot them 36-28. But they, had more hits, 31-23. You won almost 60% of the faceoffs, but that didn't do anything. And I mean, really, block shots, you outblock shot them 19-17. You had 4 more giveaways, but you had 5 more takeaways. So all those numbers, the Devils had 2 more penalties as well. You should have won this game, but you couldn't put the puck in the net. And as you watch this game, Tony, I mean, was there one thing? Of course, I mean, you have to give, Schmid and the Devils defense, props for not allowing more than 1 goal. But was there is it the usual shot selection, tentativeness? I mean, what was the reason that the Rangers could only put up 1 here?
I mean, unfortunately, Brian, I think really the only thing, again, you mentioned the 0 for 5 in the power play. I mean, you do have to figure out a way to score, especially since your special teams, your power play has been so good this series too. But honestly, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Rangers need to do something else because they did almost everything right. The quality of their shots were great. You can nitpick things here and there, but a game like this, with the Rangers putting up numbers like they did, 9 times out of 10, they're winning this game. This is just one of those that one time. I mean, yes, you do have to give the Devils their due here. Schmid had one hell of a game. I mean, the Devils kind of made a nice adjustment. The coach did a great job in terms of pulling Vanacek, starting Schmid here, with the idea Vanacek gave up 10 goals in the first 2 games. We got to change it up. But then we start Schmidt, see what happens. Maybe, he can step up to the occasion, and he did exactly that. So honestly, it was just a good move there. Schmid, like I said, had a phenomenal game, 35 saves. You saw quality shots. The Rangers played a hell of a game. You mentioned their stat line, really, beating the Devils in almost every category. They had phenomenal chances. You saw great lines from first line to fourth line. I mean, you even saw, Jimmy Vesey making some great moves out there. Great defensive plays by Trouba and Miller, forwards blocking shots like Goudreau, Zibanejad getting down, Panarin having some great opportunities. contesting Schmid for sure a lot. Again, like, I can say, like, all right, there was a few times where Panarin gets a one-timer and the shot's wide, misses the net. But again, you really can't be mad at their performance. And it still took the Devils overtime. They had to bring you to overtime to beat you. It was like a dirty goal from Hamilton, just a slapper from the blue line. They had a hard time getting to Shesterkin. The Rangers did play really well. It sucks that, that's just, unfortunately, that's the way hockey is. Sometimes you play your best and sometimes the puck just doesn't roll your way. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think we've seen this before where, the Rangers get up 2-0 in a series, drop the third game, and then win out. That's really what I'm looking for here because, other than the score of game 3 here, the Rangers haven't really shown anything other than just being a better team than the Devils this series. So I'm still super confident, pumped about tonight. I would imagine, maybe Schmid doesn't have that adrenaline rush of getting the start. He kind of had a day to think about, starting. We are back at the Garden. I'm not nervous yet.
Wait till puck drop, right?
Well, I mean, if it's like, dude, if you drop 2 in the Garden to the Devils, that's not a great look here. Series is tied 2-2. You lost 2 games at home. Now you're back on the road. We know the Devils had the 3rd best road record in the league. So, they're going to have, it's certainly going to be a challenging game for sure. And I will say, hey, man, next time Panarin gets that one-timer in the slot here, he better fucking hit it. But I'm not worried. I think the Rangers are going to have a nice bounce back game here. They're, like I said, they're up 2-0. They probably felt some pressure of being undefeated, sweeping. I'm sure they heard the term sweep a lot, from reporters and fans and whatnot. So they lost 1 game. Let's reset. Let's get back at it. Dominant performance. And hey, man, I mean, like you said, the big donut in the room was the power play. 0 for 5. Devils have been giving you power play opportunities all series long. Expect it again tonight. And let's just hone it in, dude. I mean, it's, again, you have a man advantage. You should be able to move that puck really well and find some open space. So let's do it.
And what are you forecasting?
I'm honestly forecasting a Schmidt clunker. Honestly,
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking gives up like 4 goals in the first period.
First period,
dude. And like I said, I just think it's going to be just pouring goals. I think it's going to be Panarin in the slot. I think it's going to be Kreider. I think it's going to be Trocheck. And I guess give me a Gaudreau goal as well in the first period alone, dude. And I think, Schmidt maybe gets pulled. Vitek back in there. Shesterkin great, but maybe, second period, Rangers give up 2. It's a 4-2 game at that point. But then, third period, kind of silent. Rangers are winning this one 5-2. Empty netter at the end.
5-2. Wow.
Let's go.
5
spot again. Come on.
I'm going to take it a step further. How about a 6-0 shutout? How about, we're at home.
Let's go.
We're taking control of this series. We're not going to let it linger.
No.
We're going to learn from our game 3 mistakes. And kind of like what you said, I mean, they dominated them thoroughly games 1 and 2. And then also, I mean, the defense and Shesterkin have to get some credit here because, I mean, he basically let up 1 goal through regulation last game. So, I mean, They just have had no success against the Rangers offensively. So I do feel really good about that. But let's say, yes, 6-0. And we are going to get to hear the patent call of Sam Rosen talking about a power play goal.
Another power play goal.
Oh, man. So, yeah, let's get the good feels back in the building tonight. Rangers victory, Yankees victory.
I'll see you at the stadium today, brother.
But let's just go. Let's
Honestly,
just go.
dude.
It's go time. And, just
No holds bar. Michael crying.
Michael sobbing in the corner. But just I wanted to just take a look here too at some of the other series. So got Maple Leafs Lightning. That's going to be 7:30. So Rangers game at 7. Maple's Lightning at 7:30. Kind of interesting. The Lightning, that dominant game 1 win, and then here we are, Toronto. We talked about the playoff struggles, and they're able to win decisively in game 2. Edge out the Lightning in game 3 on the road. You think about how strong the Lightning are at home here. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just winning the last 2 games or not, Toronto actually -110 road favorites here tonight. Are you expecting an answer back from Tampa Bay?
No.
Really? What is the reason though?
I think Braden Point is injured.
Okay.
I think he's out, and I could be wrong. I don't know if he's going to play anyway. I mean, he could just play anyway. I should double check the report there, but I just think Toronto. I'm telling you, dude, it's their time. I mentioned, Tavares playing a role. I think he had a hat trick in their last game in the win, dude. I'm telling you, I think it's just Toronto's time here.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow. So that would be, it's been such a long drought for them. So to win against the 3-time defending Eastern Conference champion and winning 2 out of the 3 last Stanley Cups, that would be pretty impressive stuff. I'm just pulling up Braden Point here. Just
This is day to day.
I feel like that means he gives it a go. Day to day, right? I mean, these are hockey players we're talking about, Tony.
Yes, I understand.
Undisclosed will be a game time decision for game 4, 31 minutes ago.
Yeah, so I think we'll see. And even so, him not playing 100%, I understand, him, Kucherov, these are players that have kind of like sneaky good seasons.
Right.
But I think Toronto just outpowers them.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, what was it, game was it game 2? Tavares had the hat trick.
Yeah, they won 7-2.
So be interesting to see. I mean, I think the winner of this game wins the series. On Saturday, we saw the Golden Knights and the Jets go to double overtime. The Knights able to prevail there. So now they have a 2-1 lead, and we'll look to extend that to 3-1 tonight, 9:30 on ESPN. So the game, following the Rangers here. Is it smooth sailing the rest of the way for the Knights?
I don't think so. I mean, they have that game. They have a game tonight, right? And I just feel like, you've seen some games from the Jets where they just look really dominant. You understand they won 2 in a row, but I mean, game 1, the Jets, I think it was like 5-1. They destroyed and they just really outplayed them. Speed, physicality, everything. And then you kind of have Vegas with the answer. And then, you have Vegas again with double overtime winner. I mean, that's a crazy long game here. So again, this is where it kind of could be really either way here. For either team, because you're 3 games in, you just have a double overtime game. These guys are going to be tired, Brian.
Right.
On both sides of the puck here. So it could be like a sloppy game where there's just goals left and right that really wouldn't normally be going in. Players, blowing a tire, trying to defend someone, and there's breakaways and stuff. So kind of hard to say that there's going to be a definitive winner here. But I certainly think Winnipeg is gonna have quite the fight here. Connor Hellebuck is someone who could really just have a shutout at any given moment too. So I would say give me Winnipeg to tie it up, honestly.
Wow.
In regulation 7? Here. Yeah.
And then we saw Seattle get their first playoff win, shockingly, in franchise history in Colorado. Yeah. Game 1, Colorado's answered back the last 2 games. Did they go up 3-1 tonight in Seattle?
Yeah, I do think so. I don't know if you've been watching highlights of McKinnon just in this series alone. Yeah. But his just explosiveness is really unmatched. You see him blowing by Seattle defenders. Kraken have been doing a great job by playing physical against the Avalanche. But again, I just think Colorado, it's going to be too much, too quick for the Kraken to really try and handle. Their skaters are really evasive too. You got to tip your hat to Seattle, but give me Colorado here.
All right. And then I guess the only other thing I just wanted to mention, you know what, just make it official. Let's go to the world of the National Basketball Association.
Wow.
The Bulls go! LeBron James at the buzzer! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
All right. So just wanted to mention a couple things. Obviously, local feel here. The Knicks, 102-93 yesterday over the Cleveland Cavaliers to take a decisive 3-1 lead. And, this is a series I honestly didn't expect them to win. Cleveland was a great team, during the regular season, and that's why they had the 4 versus the Knicks having the 5 seed here. And, you thought about Mitchell too. You just could see where, he's dropping 50, the Knicks losing 5. We saw them struggle a couple years ago with the Atlanta Hawks. But this was a game where, right out of the gate, the Knicks, outscore the Cavs 30-23 in the first quarter, kind of setting the tone. Closer second quarter, they outscore them by 2. Let up a little bit in the third period, our third quarter outscored by 7, but then take control of things, swing things back their direction in the fourth, 102-93. Like I said, to go up 3-1 in this series, and Jalen Brunson showing his worth once again, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, including 5 3-pointers, plus 9 out there on the court. RJ Barrett finally kind of stepping up, 26 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and, playing a big role. You saw Obi Toppin play 20 minutes, 5 points, 8 rebounds. And the funniest thing that I saw, they were like going to timeout, and Carton was sitting. Did you see that or no? He was sitting courtside. I don't know if Fox got on the tickets or whatever, because we know he doesn't have any extra money to spend on something like that. And he literally pats RJ Barrett on the back like he's his assistant coach. Like, hey, good job there. And you see it clearly his face. He's standing up and everything. He is such a chief, but it was just so funny to see. But he really does think he's all that, Carton.
That's kind of ridiculous. This is what RJ Barrett, you said?
Yeah.
What did Barrett, was he like?
He didn't even look back. He's just whatever. But it was just such a seamless thing. And I can only imagine on Carton and Roberts today, I'm sure that's going to be brought up several times.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And then also Josh Hart. We saw him, play through that injury in game 2. Obviously that didn't go their way, but 19.7 rebounds. So looking like one of the better acquisitions at the trade deadline. So the Knicks, the fans have to be feeling pretty good. They haven't won a playoff series, since 2013. So been a long time, and you got to give credit where credit is due. And I think, me and Michael both thought, going into this year, what are we doing with Thibs here? Why is he still the coach? Just didn't seem like things were headed in the right direction. Randall, all that. And here we are. And next game, the Cavs are going to get a chance to move on. So let's see. So that'll be on Wednesday in Cleveland. But they'll get a chance to defeat the Cavs one more time, move on to the second round.
You gonna do it?
Yeah, I do think they're gonna do it. And it'd be interesting to see who they play. Just because the Bucks and Heat series, the Bucks #1 seed here, down 2-1. We know about Giannis being banged up. So do they play the Heat? Do they play the Bucks? So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye out for. So we'll see. I just wanted to see too if we knew if Giannis is good to go. But I'm just checking right here. I guess so. Because I don't see any type of injury report listed. So I guess he will be good to go here. So with Giannis back, I would expect them in Miami, but I think they'll even this series at 2. Might stretch it out to 7, but I would think the Bucks find a way. In Los Angeles tonight, the Lakers have an opportunity to go up 3-1 here. Isn't it amazing, Tony? We saw I think it was game 1 was finishing up before we started our show at the Horseshoe, over a week ago, and they've only played 3 games since then.
That's actually kind of ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, it seems like the series should be over. You had Dylan Brooks, getting all, kind of acting like Draymond Green, and he's kind of going after LeBron. And I just think it's a fight you don't want to fight. The Grizzlies haven't accomplished anything. It's that simple.
Dude. Stupid.
And these people that just talk but don't deliver, they really do rub me the wrong way. So I kind of think the Lakers should be able to win this one handily. You look at the last game, they jumped out to a 35-9 lead in the first quarter, kind of coasted from there. Memphis was able to steal game 2 by 10. Obviously they're helped by Ja being back, but I think I'm thinking a decisive victory here. I'm going to call it 120-108. As the Lakers will be 1 game away from advancing to the second round of these playoffs. So something interesting to keep an eye out for. What level of the playoffs are the Knicks going to need to get to for you to watch a game?
Oh, geez. I mean, I'll watch it right now, I guess. I mean,
Well, you see I guess. Like, where is it? Like, wow, this is kind of sick. Is it Eastern Conference Finals?
Eastern Conference Finals.
Like a chance to go.
And
I
it's
think
like, maybe game 3, it's tied 2-2 already, or game 4, whatever, game 5, whatever. Or even game 3 is tied 1-1. I'll be like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll watch.
and for to get like a very high excitement level out of Michael, do you think we need to reach the same threshold, or is it next series, maybe a decisive game 1 victory, then he's jacked up, or what do you think?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I think he's jacked up for it, but I don't think he's watching any of the games, honestly.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so what do you think? I mean, is it next round, or is it like kind of the same spot that you're in right now?
I mean, I don't know. I hate to try and speak for him, but I want to say for him to be like, yeah, like let's go out and like watch the game, or let's like go to Barnes's. I think it has to be like the finals.
Hey, I mean, he's been waiting a long time for it.
I know.
So, but that is that, Tony. But other than that, as we wrap up here, anything else you wanted to mention on the way out?
No. I mean, I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have to bring it back to hockey or anything, but I watched the Kings-Oilers game last night.
7. You think that's going 7?
Oilers won in overtime. Such a tough game, honestly, as I was watching it. It was.
You're so excited to come on today and be like, "Oh, Kings are gonna win it in 5."
I know, dude, because the Kings were up 3-0 2 in the first period, and I don't know, they just kind of fell apart in the second. They felt the pressures of the Oilers. They were giving up stupid penalties. It's tough because I think the Kings are just too youthful. Ironically enough, their line of Velarde and Fiala were probably the only line that was producing much offense. But other than that, I mean. They gave the Oilers a lot of power play opportunities. And I don't know if you've seen the Oilers this season on the power play, but it's obviously incredibly effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their passes are just on a rope, and and it's one-touch passes, too. It's so quick, their puck movement. It's really impressive. Still took the Oilers to give them the overtime, by the way, to take a win. I believe the series is tied 2-2.
2-2, yeah.
So I don't know. I still think Kings win this one. They're a more complete team. Korpisalo has been having some phenomenal saves. So you absolutely love to see it for them. So I don't know. It was a tough loss for them, but it was a phenomenal game. I mean, Jay and I were up late watching it because it was just glued to the TV, bud.
Yeah.
So it was good hockey. Let's go Kings.
You seem a little bitter about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss, dude. Overtime. Again, like I said, they were up 3-0 in the first. You think, wow, like they can put this one away. They did.
Yeah. No, so that'll be interesting to see. And obviously, like I said before, excited for Yankees back in action tonight. Of course, the Rangers here. Big game. I think this really will put this series where it needs to be.
Yeah, I think so.
The Rangers, if they're able to just perform like we think they're capable of performing. But yeah, another great show. Really appreciate everybody tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, checking out the archives on the YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, Michael, Renee in costume, the merch, downtimetv.com. I just remembered that me and Sam got our tie-dyes over the weekend. Was going to wear it today, running around, forgot.
Tomorrow?
Orioles game. Back on Thursday. I look out for it.
You're not going to be here tomorrow or Wednesday?
Staying over, coming back, train Wednesday night.
So no tomorrow
or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
Anthony, Tony holding down the fort. Michael.
It might be. It'd probably be an Anthony and Tony show. I'll have to do some crazy shit where I change my shirt and jump over there, and then I got to come back here or something, dude.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But downtimetv.com, definitely check out all the merch. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Rangers and Yankees.
That's rough.
And Tony, we'll see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.